What's up, everybody? Hey, Tom Laird here, host of the Advice from a Call Center Geek podcast and founder of Expivia. For exceptional contact center outsourcing, trust Expivia. We're fully AI-driven, as all of you know, and can handle voice, email, chat, and all of your digital channels. Our 600-seat USA contact center is expert in healthcare, financial services, insurance, tech support, retail, and more. Experts on the NICE CX1 platform, we ensure seamless customer experiences. DM me or visit expiviausa.com for more. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Advice from a Call Center Geek, the call center and contact center podcast. We try to give you some actionable items, take back in your contact center, improve the overall quality, improve your agent experience, hopefully improve your customer experience as well. All right, guys, I got something a little bit special. I found some content from a talk that I did in, I believe it was 2020, and it was to a business group of contact center professionals. And basically, I gave a talk on a ton of different topics, but I just found about a 12-minute piece on employee engagement and some of the things that we do in our contact center that I think are going to add a ton of value. And this is going to be a super fun and I think informational episode, right? Talking about games that we play, everything from work from home to my favorite in-house contact center and call center agent game, talking about leadership committees and how you can engage your reps to kind of give you heads up on things that are happening in your contact center and improve that communication culture. We're going to lead in here with me talking about our attitude and effort board, right? And it's basically the way that we do suggestions, which is a little bit unique and a little bit different. So again, I hope you enjoy this. I think this episode is, I was trying to figure out the best way to kind of get this episode out if I just kind of did another video but I think doing a podcast with this really is the right way, and it gives it the amount of, prestige or how much I really feel awesome about, the content that is here. So I hope you guys feel the same. Enjoy. It's an attitude effort board. So we have a office that really no one's using. I have a glass board that's set up, and reps just go in there anonymously. They can put their name if they like. Most of them are anonymous, and they just write down suggestions, things that they think could help with attitude and effort. And then what we do, we have been doing it monthly, but with everybody out of the office, it's turned into once every 3 months. We've done it about once every the last 3 months. I'll choose 3 or 4 ideas that I think are awesome. The call center reps will vote on them, and we'll actually implement it. So whether that means I have to get IT involved and HR involved and a supervisor to implement this, we'll get a team, we'll get funds for it, we'll figure something out to implement the idea that the reps had that improved our attitude and effort. So again, it's a win for the reps because they feel like they're being heard. It's a win for the company because we're improving attitude and effort things that we instill and we think are really, really important. And it's been a lot of fun, and they have really good ideas. If you can channel them a little bit, they come up with some really good stuff. And again, they're the ones that are frontline, so they know really what could things that could really move the needle as long as we're really kind of pushing it to the right areas. When we started the leadership committee, we had a lot of people that wanted to be involved, and I didn't want to make this like a 20-person deal. So I thought that was cool that we wanted people involved, and I didn't want to kind of shoo them away. So we have smaller committees as well, right? So we kind of have this little bit of a hierarchy, and we don't meet all the time with these guys. We'll meet when we have an issue. So they're on a committee, but it's not a full-time meeting every month, anything like that. But there's a games committee. So they come up with all the games that we're playing in our contact center. They have the good ideas. Managers think that especially when it comes to things like this. I get every single day, at least 3 times a week, I get an email from someone that says, "Hey, Tom, can you send me call center games?" Ask your reps. Ask them what they want to do. I guarantee you that they'll come up with some really good things. Start creating a book. When we were work from home, again, like I think I already said this, but we had about 120 games to play in the call center in our book. So we would just go like, "Hey, I want to do this today." That didn't come from me. That came from supervisors, that came from reps, and we listened to them and we played their game. And if it was good, it made it into the book, right? So there's a whole committee that we have that kind of does that, of some, I guess, very creative individuals that like that stuff. Again, we talked about equipment. We'll talk to these guys if we want to change chairs, do anything like that. And then we'll bring it to the kind of the head committee. And then we have a welcome committee. All right. So every single new rep, and a lot of you guys I know do this in your center. So when you have a new class that comes out, we have a group that will greet them, that will welcome them onto the floor, that are experienced reps that, have gone through the process of, we know that they're perfect for attitude and effort. So they're going to talk to these guys, be their big brother or their big sister, and they're going to be the first ones that isn't a management person that's going to be whispering in their ear about attitude and effort and how important it is. And if you do this, you can get to here, and you're going to get paid more if you just show up for work every day. And if your sentiment scores are really good, you're going to get paid more. You can make all this money. So it doesn't come from the management team. It comes from our troops, which is a really, really important thing because it means a lot more, right? It means a lot more when the person next to you who's been here for 5 years, who's on the phone taking the same calls with you, is telling you, hey, this is the way to go, instead of saying, hey, this place stinks and it's frustrating and I hate these calls. So that's another, something I think that's pretty important. The use of social media, making sure that if you don't have a dedicated Facebook page just for your call center, ask. See if you can do that. Our Expivia Facebook page, we don't advertise, we don't market on. The only thing that we put on there is our rep stuff. Games that we played, birthdays, anything that has to do with having fun with the associates, with what they've done. Competitions that we're doing now with, photography. This weekend it's who can take the best picture. Looking for some artists that we have. We've done paintings. We've done everybody's done the take a picture of your pet kind of thing, right? But the bottom line is have something dedicated just for your call center, right? You probably have it for your organization, but you can do a sub page that's just for your contact center and just for those guys, and you can even make it private. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a public thing where everybody sees it. Just so everybody has somewhere to go. That has pictures in the stuff that they can show to their kids, show to their siblings, and be proud of the organization that they're working for. We use Instagram kind of the same way, right? It's more rep oriented. We do a lot of our games on Instagram, but it's anything that we're putting on Facebook, we're basically kind of part and parcel doing it on Instagram as well. And then we haven't done this with our work from home, but when we were here, we would have 3 or 4 times a year, we'd have major competitions. Like the last one we did was in February, and we did water pong, right? Not beer pong, but water pong. And we live streamed. We had a giant tournament that went for about 2 weeks, and we live streamed the championship to the entire company and then on the Facebook page. I mean, 30 people watched it, but still, we had the recording. It was like a live event. We had another rep that did play-by-play with it. So really cool, and something that's a little bit fun, something that you can kind of think about as well there. Something we do with our management trainees. So we don't really have team leads. We hire management trainees that are going to become supervisors, but however you work that in your organization, we rotate them throughout the organization. So before a supervisor becomes a supervisor, this team lead will go into HR and they'll spend a week in HR. They'll sit through interviews. They'll sit through, if there's any type of write-up or any kind of disciplinary issues that come up. They'll sit through our QA area. They'll monitor calls. They'll score calls. Understand how painful it can be when a rep isn't doing what they're supposed to be doing. They'll sit with our WFM team, understand that if you're late for lunch and you're out of compliance, what a headache that makes for them, and how it kind of affects the whole organization. So we're trying to give a kind of a holistic approach to just somebody who's on the call center floor, but having them understand, wow, what I do and what my job as a call center manager and what our call center does affects everyone. I think this is a really important piece. It's also something that's kind of one of the cornerstones of our management trainee program, which we do about a 6-week management trainee program before a rep becomes a supervisor. But something I think to take back and maybe think about, because it's worked really, really well. All right, getting to the end here, games to play. And these were some at-home games. Some I just kind of randomly chose. And I think I chose them because you could kind of do them from work from home too. But again, check out the podcast. There's 2 full episodes of just games that we're playing in the call center. And hopefully I explain them pretty well. But I don't want to get deep, into these. But basically, we would do things like, we called it punch out, where we would put, like Dixie cups all on a board, on a cork board in the call center. We put prizes in some of them. We put shaving cream in other ones, and then we kind of cover it up with a tissue so that you couldn't see what it was, right? So if you got your KPI or your CSAT score, or you had a good QA score, you could go and kind of punch in and kind of, see what you got. Everybody's got games like that. Find the Joker. Again, this is something that you can do from work from home, is basically type an entire deck of cards onto a piece of cardboard with one Joker on it, and then have reps, as they're getting sales or they're getting, calls that are good, that are being monitored. They can, choose cards, and then again, one has the prize, things like that. And then I don't know if you know this, but there's free Jeopardy and free Wheel of Fortune. Just Google Wheel of Fortune or Jeopardy games. They're free online games. You can customize them to any questions that you guys have. So if you want to do things about the program that you're on, if you want to do things about the company, if it's somebody's birthday and you want to, maybe ask questions just about Janie, you can do that. So something that's kind of cool, really easy, and you can do it from work from home as well. So these are when you guys get back into the office, if some of you get back into the office, these are some of the things you have to do. These are my favorites. They're the rep favorites, and I think they're a little bit unique, is I'm going to jump to the second one, which is the human board game. So a lot of call centers and a lot of, the floors have, like those 12 by 12 inch carpet squares. So we said, hey, those carpet squares kind of look like tiles on a game board. So what we did is we created a human board game. And it winds throughout. We have 3 call centers, so we'll normally play three games at a time. We'll wind throughout the whole call center. Reps can choose kind of their own token, right? So like somebody might take a broom, somebody might have a stuffed animal, whatever it is. And then the supervisor goes and sets up the board. So you can say just like, sorry, like back 3 spaces, or swap places, or lose a turn. And then as you're getting your good KPIs, or whoever you're deeming a reward for going, they can either roll a dice, or a die that's online. There's a lot of just free die, just roll them. We bought one of those, giant foam dice that they just kind of roll down the middle of the floor, and then they move their game piece, throughout the call center. So kind of fun. The horse racing thing is kind of the same thing, but you're just kind of going up and back. So that's my number one game, though. The human board game is a lot of fun. But again, check out the podcast when it comes to the games. There's a lot of stuff on there. I think there's like almost 50 games that we've talked about in the 2 episodes. So hopefully there's something there that resonates. All right, and then this is my last 2 slides, and I'll kind of take any questions that you may have. Hopefully, my number one tip for call center management, and this is a huge piece of the engagement, the physical daily engagement, is when you are work from the office, right? When you're brick and mortar, is we control the first 30 minutes of the shift. And when I say we, it's supervisor to team. So number one, you must welcome with enthusiasm. Hard word to say for me. But basically they can't be at their desk, typing an email saying, hi, Janie, as Janie walks and takes her seat on her team. It's either a high five, it's a handshake, it's now probably an elbow bump, but it's asking them, hey, how's your day? What's going on? Right? Because you're not only trying to engage them right there to get them to kind of wake up a little bit, but you're also kind of taking the temperature of who has that good attitude, who might need some jokes, who do I got to push a little bit here, just before I have to say, hey, come on, let's go, or we can't take some calls. So you got to welcome, really important that